Awesome. Now this presentation is on the terrestrial environment, and this is a general ecology recording. Now, moving on to thoughts on terrestrial environment. When people think of the terrestrial environment, they typically picture tall trees, vicious animals, and wet and humid forests. There is a lot more to this environment. Now, for today's focus, we will be looking at life on land, plant versus life, soil in terrestrial environment. Life on land. Firstly, we have desiccation, which is the biggest challenge. The loss of water is one of the challenges faced by many organisms living in arid environments. First off, a set of challenges. Water loss via diffusion, adaptations for water balance, waxy cuticles, stomata, vascular tissues. Now, what is water loss versus diffusion? Diffusion, water molecules move from an area of higher concentration inside the organism to areas of lower concentration outside, which can lead to rapid water loss in dry conditions. The impacts it has on cells, it gives it excessive water loss, can cause cells to become dehydrated, impairing metabolic processes, and potentially leading to cell death. Now, going on for adaptations for water balance. This combats desiccation. Various organisms, especially plants, have evolved. Now, waxy cuticle. The function is a thick hydrophobic layer covering the epidermis of leaves and stems that reduces water loss by creating a barrier to evaporation. The benefits are it helps retain moisture within the plant tissues and protects against extreme environmental conditions. What is vascular tissues? Now, this is the xylem, the tissue that transports water from roots to other parts of the plant. Phloem. It primarily transports nutrients. The presence of a functioning phloem can support energy efficient growth and the ability to mobilize resources during droughts. Second, our other topic is overcoming gravity, the importance of structure. We'll talk about buoyancy versus gravity, structural adaptations in plants and animals, and examples will be given such as kelp versus redwood. Now, buoyancy versus gravity. Buoyancy is the upwards force exerted by a fluid, allowing objects to float or rise. Gravity pulls objects towards the Earth center, impacting terrestrial life. Now, here are some examples of kelp versus redwood trees. On your left, we have the kelp. On your right, with the red or let's say brown trunks, are the redwood trees. Now, kelp is found in nutrient-rich coastal areas, highlighting the buoyancy adaptation. Redwood adapts necessary for life against gravity. Now, here is a beautiful picture showcasing plants versus life. It's very interesting, isn't it? Look how green and lovely that is. Look how bright it is showing, right? And here is an image. The number of leaves above affects the amount of light at any depth in the canopy. Now, here is an example. Anatomy of the rainforest. You see where the rain is falling, and you see how the tall trees are getting the rain. You see the birds above, they're floating above the trees. This is the anatomy of the rainforest, and it shows the emergent layer where it reaches, the canopy reaches, where the understory reaches. Now, there are more plant leaves above the canopy, hence less sunlight for the plant below. However, the amount of leaves above the canopy isn't accurate to account for the amount of sunlight in the terrestrial environment. Therefore, we use the leaf area index LAI. As you move to the top of the canopy to the ground in a forest, the cumulative leaf area and LAI increase, Correspondingly, light decreases. Now, Beer's law states it describes the general relationships between available light and LAI. Not only does the quantity of light vary through the plant canopy, but also the quality. Plants use wavelengths of 400 to 700 nm as a source of energy in photosynthesis. These wavelengths are known as photosynthetically active radiation, PAR. So let's move on to orientation of the leaves. Here is an example where you have the leaf that's flattened and you have a leaf that is horizontal. It's the same way, but it's in a different photo. Now, what is soil? This is an essential component of the ecosystem, serving as a foundation for plant life and various biological process. It is a complex system. It is a product of weathering and life. It has three-dimensional nature of soil, and soil is biotic and it has abiotic interactions. Soil as a product of weathering and life, it is physical and chemical processes break down parent rock into smaller particles. The biological influence, organic matter from decaying plants, and the activities of soil organisms enrich the soil. Biotic interactions. Now, these organisms contribute to nutrient cycling, decomposition, and soil formation. Abiotic interactions. These affect soil structure and moisture retention, allowing for microbial communities and enhancing plant growth. Here are three-dimensional nature of soil: vertical stratification, spatial distribution, and porosity and permeability. For soil formation, here we have the parent material is the material from which soil develops. Climate influences soil. The biotic factors such as animals, bacteria, and plants all help with soil formation. Now, topography can affect how climate influences the weathering processes. All right, so now moving on to soil characteristics, the physical characteristics to be exact. Now, the properties that makes up the color, texture, structure, moisture, and depth are the organic matter, which makes the soil dark. So when the color is actually red or brownish, yellowish, and this is from the iron, which oxidizes. All right, moving on to the texture of soil. In gravel, it consists of 2.0 mm, but they are not part of the fine fraction of soil. Sand is around 0.05. Silt consists of particles from 0.002. Clay particles are less than 0.002 mm. Now, clay controls most importantly, the properties of soil, including its water holding capacity and the exchange of ions between soil particles and soil solution. Here are some photos showcasing the types of soil. We have sandy, silt, clay, loam, red, and black. All right, so here are the soil horizons, and this develops from undifferentiated parent materials, right? So in the image, you can see the layers of the soil. Okay, and here is a recap: classification, why classify, and how to do it. These are just some simple questions that feel free to ask yourself. You can go back over the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something, and be back again for another video. Thank you.